Hello. Is this live? I think it is. Good morning. It's been a minute since I picked up the camera to film anything. The stuff that I did have filmed. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. I've been cold and just generally a little bit under the weather the past couple of weeks. But I was talking in a vlog yesterday about how I just have lost all motivation and my energy levels are so low. And I was just starting to feel really sad. And no particular reason. No like trigger that I can think of. But I was just like really, really low. And I was reading a blog that I read all the time, and the woman who's writing it was saying how every year at this time she feels this way. And it doesn't help that she knows she's going to feel that way. But she kind of prepares somewhat. And I was talking to another friend, and she said she was feeling much the same way, and she wondered whether or not it was seasonal affective disorder. She wondered whether or not it was something that had maybe eventually gotten us, and something that a lot of people suffer with. I must admit, I absolutely believe that seasonal affective disorder is a thing. Let me just put you a little further away. But I couldn't quite pinpoint really what it was, and it did seem like something that maybe isn't entirely legitimate. But it could be that. And I just wondered whether or not any of you actually do suffer with that, and how it manifests itself for you, because I just can't imagine what that actually is. But maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is just, it's winter, it's dark all the time. Every time I have any kind of low mood in the past 18 months, I've chalked it up to the pandemic. And now we are in this weird, it's not over, but we're kind of being told that it's over. And this is the new normal, but it's not normal. Is this actually what life is going to be like? Or are we still waiting for something? Because you do feel constantly, I do feel constantly like I'm waiting for something. And maybe part of it is the thing of now is I think this is what we've been waiting for, and it doesn't feel the way I thought it was going to feel. But I've been feeling like this. Although I could probably still put it down to that. I've been feeling like this since maybe November time. And that would have been pre-New York holiday. And that would definitely have been like a punctuation in the pandemic being somewhat not over, obviously, but from the perspective of the regular people who are just being restricted, who aren't being on the front lines impacted every day. Perhaps that felt like it should mark the end of something, and it still felt very present. And so now when we're getting news of we're going to lift all the restrictions, we're going to do whatever, it doesn't feel like it's over, but it's almost like we're being told, well, we're just going to go back to normal now, but it's not normal, you know? I feel it when it gets too hot. Yeah, I get that with seasonal affective disorder. I could more believe that too. Yes, waiting for something, but I don't know what it is completely. My husband snapped the key in the front door this morning. It feels like the straw that's broken the camel's back. The dark, wet days really get me down. Exhaustion of the pandemic, it's a lot. Yeah, it's not something that I have ever felt before. Obviously, especially in the last 2 years, we've had ups and downs and highs and lows, and in terms of mood. But this past couple of weeks, I've just felt like the months of things aren't quite right have caught up to me, and I just can't quite shake it off in the way that I usually would. Thankfully this week, it's not something that usually I would hope for, because I like my routine. I like to just be at home, but I have a lot of stuff going on this week. I'm going to the office tomorrow, then I'm sleeping at my mum's house by myself to look after their dog. I've been asked before about this. The dogs, it's not like children. The dog, it's like babies, I suppose. The dogs have their own routine. You can't explain to a dog where they are, why you've taken them somewhere, and why suddenly their like sleeping situation is different. And so it's much, much easier for me to look after their dog there and mum to look after our dog here. It just is. So that's what we do. So I'm doing that tomorrow night, which means I've got like a night off my, like there's only so many things I can do. I'm kind of like being taken out of my life. And then on Saturday, I'm going to visit my friend, and I'm going to stay over with her, and we're going to like some Taylor Swift club night thing, which I'm quite looking forward to. But absolutely the most bizarre week. So I'm hoping that might like shake up my routine a little bit and make me feel a little bit better. But I can't find the motivation or the energy for anything at all. Several times I've thought I should film something, and I just haven't. It's very unusual for me to just think, I haven't got a video for this day, meh. But I thought that for Sunday, I thought that for today. I haven't got anything for Friday or this Sunday. I've vlogged a little this morning, but I want to do it. I have ideas, and there's a part of me that's like way in the back, that's like, oh, I really want to talk about this thing. And then when it comes to it, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't do it, which is very unusual for me. And so it feels like there's more going on. This sad feeling is a whole thing. It is a whole thing. By the way, the mugs and which side is it on? And the sweatshirts are going to be, and t-shirt, are going to be on my, sorry, I'm so congested. It's gross. Apologies. I've been so weird with like symptoms and stuff. Earache, headaches, super fatigue. So obviously clearly I'm like poorly as well, but it's been weeks. So I don't know if that's actually just psychosomatic. Nausea every day. I did a million lateral flow tests. I know that they're not like for people with symptoms, but just as like a precaution, because they weren't really COVID symptoms. And everything was negative. So I'm fairly certain it's just like an alternate virus, but But yeah, the stuff is in the store until the end of February, I've decided. And then it's going to go away potentially forever, because I'm going to do something completely different for summertime. So yeah, it has felt like a whole thing recently. Anxiety, exhaustion, it's definitely a thing. Yes. I feel like since things have eased, I feel out of place. I think it's because we were locked away for so long. Working from home, going back to normal is draining and hard. I found half term hard too, especially when the weather is rubbish. I'm waiting for warmer weather. However, I do feel like I'm always looking for something to perk me up, and yet nothing has yet. Finding it hard to get into a routine, because every time things feel normal, either my son or I get a cough and he can't go back to school. Hard to find a routine when it can be quickly turned on its head. That's true. I definitely think there's something to this feeling of, right, everyone go back to normal now, but it doesn't feel normal. I mean, thankfully, I'm so appreciative that my workplace hasn't asked everybody to go back to work like full time. I don't think that's ever going to happen, because they put so much money and effort into COVID precautions. It was incredible. Within weeks, they sent us home before the lockdown. Like as soon as they had like the whisper of an idea of a lockdown, they sent everybody home. We didn't previously have like equipment to work from home. Some people did, but most didn't. They resourced a laptop for every single person. I cannot speak highly enough about how they dealt with the whole thing. Sent everybody home, and they spent a lot of money and time setting up the office to be COVID safe. So they put everything like 6 feet apart. Had someone come in and like do the whole thing. Ripped out all the desks, the wires were all over the place. It was crazy. They made something so that it was all a one-way system. So there was a point where people were wearing masks in offices, but we didn't need to, because there was absolutely no way, if you followed the system, there was no way that you would ever cross paths with anyone, and you were always going to be 6 feet apart, so you could comfortably work in the office. I've only been in like 3 times, but some people went in constant, like all the time. But you didn't even have to wear a mask like walking into the office, because of all of these precautions they'd put in place. It was just seriously incredible. But because of that, I don't see them ever sending us all back, because basically they've put something in place where everyone is kind of separate, and it does avoid people passing along other types of illnesses and stuff like that. It kind of works, and we're all working remotely and that all works. So I think it'll probably be part-time, and hopefully for me that only means like 1 day a week, because I only work 3, which I would be fine with that, to be honest. The only ball ache of it all is like taking all your stuff, because I'm quite set up here. I had cold symptoms, was testing negative all week and tested positive on a PCR on Sunday. Isolation sucks, I want to go shopping. Well, this is the other thing with the whole thing of, because I was feeling so rubbish. It's been 2 weeks since I started to feel rubbish. So let's say it had been COVID. Theoretically, my isolation period is over. I don't think it is that, but I'm just saying. It all feels, the further we get into this, the more nonsense that feels like, the testing process, because it doesn't even matter if you're feeling better or not. There's an isolation period, and then you're done. I don't understand it. But thankfully, this week Milo's been off school. I actually kept him off school last week because he wasn't feeling very well. But again, all of our tests were negative, and no cough, none of the regular symptoms. It was mostly like earache, headache, nausea, which don't seem to be major symptoms. Anyway. Continuing dealing with new normal has left me exhausted for 2 years. The new normal is exhausting because the goalposts are always moving, yes. Everything just feels the same all of the time. I feel everything is heavy. The weather, the news, politics, rising bills, and we're not due a reward. Plus none of my clothes fit. You're not alone. Yes, Lorraine. I also feel like I don't tend to have like a negative body image at all. But that's kind of crept in weirdly. I'm not changed much. I didn't weigh myself pre-COVID. I did buy some weighing scales last year when I started walking, because I just wanted to measure whether or not that was actually having an impact. And I did lose a stone. And because I have still some weighing scales, I've gained like 4 pounds back or something. That usually is not something that bothers me, but it has kind of been on my mind a little bit. And I think part of it is knowing that I should be walking, I should be exercising, I should be doing something. That purely for my mental health, I should be doing those things, and maybe that's what it is. But it is creeping in a little, and I'm not feeling great about myself. And I don't want to throw myself back into some kind of exercise with that as the motivator, because I just don't think that's healthy for me. I mean, it is obviously, but you know what I'm saying, mentally healthy. But I want the weather to be a little bit better again so I can start going on my daily walks. Because I do think that would make me feel better. I do. I just think it's just, I'm feeling kind of down on myself, not like just necessarily about myself. Sinus infection, that's what Lee said too. He's got me some Sinutab. I don't even think it's that, honestly. I just think we probably had a little bit of a bug. Hopefully COVID has taught people to stay home and not to go to work with a cold or flu like we used to. My 10-day isolation ended on Monday. I'm still testing positive today, but I'm not infectious now. But was for the first 10 days I was isolating. It makes no sense. This is what I'm saying. It's so frustrating. Like, I'm like sniffly, but that's it. I haven't got a cold. I don't think I have a cold. I've just got like other stuff. And every day it's different. Every day is a different symptom, which makes me think it's more exhaustion and just generally like than anything else. I think maybe if I could just sleep for 2 days, but I don't think that would be good for my mental health. The later I sleep, the worse I feel. Today I did not. I was just like, when I went to bed last night, I thought, I'm not feeling this at all. And I got up with my first alarm today because I thought, you've got to get up. Lying in is not going to make you feel better today. Get up, make coffee, do a little live, put some makeup on, and start work, which I'm going to do any moment now. So yeah, really, I'm just complaining. I've been feeling under the weather for a while, and now I'm like to the point of, ugh. The isolation period is to do with viral load. It's all too much. But yes, I think there's definitely something to seasonal affective disorder, but I also kind of feel like this is like a new, we could call it like new strain of seasonal affective disorder that's pandemic based. Like it's the winter season where we feel like we're going to come out of something, but nothing feels remedied, nothing feels fixed. It still feels like this is ruining your life. It still feels like I can't say to someone, oh, I'm not feeling very well, without them saying, without me having to say, I've already tested, it's not that, without someone saying, well, don't leave the house. That, I think, also has probably been playing on my mind a little bit because I've been feeling not great. Because the normal stuff that you're like, oh, I just don't, you just want to be like, oh, this is rubbish. But the first thing someone's going to say is COVID. It's always there. Always. I'm divorced and have not seen my kids for over a month because they live with their mum. COVID went through their house. Their mum and stepdad got it. COVID, year 3, general malaise. Yes. My 9-year-old has had his first vaccine last week and it made me feel like this is nowhere near over. Wow, I didn't even know 9-year-olds could get the vaccine. I didn't even know that was a thing. Presumably he's in what's the word I'm looking for? A particularly vulnerable group. Yeah, it is. I think it's just constant reminders. Maybe that's totally what it is. Maybe it is just that, and it's not. Everything you think of, if you think of, oh, I'd quite like to go on holiday, it's the first thing you think of. What are the restrictions going to be? I'm not feeling great. The first thing you think of. Yeah, low immunity, that makes sense. Literally everything you do, everything you consider, all plans. When my friend said, did I want to go to her house? I thought, yeah, I can make that plan now, but we'll see near the time. Everything is constantly, well, maybe, but depends on COVID. Was announced yesterday that Wales will be vaccinating 5+. Interesting. Talking to another friend about New York yesterday because now if you're over 5 you need to be fully vaccinated to do anything indoors, and like entertainment, dining, anything. And I thought, well, thankfully Milo will be 12 next year, which is insane, because otherwise it would be years and years before we were able to go back, because they're not vaccinating children of that age in the UK, and there seemed to be no reason for them to do it because the symptoms were so low. Everything I'd read was like probably not going to happen. So that's interesting to know that it is actually happening. Here in Scotland, we have to have a COVID passport, negative lateral flow to attend events. If you're after your 10-day isolation, you can go about day to day, but you can't attend an event if your lateral flow is positive. America is vaccinating from 2. Yeah, that sounds about right. The testing thing is mad because in theory, at the end of this month, Boris says that even if you've got COVID, you can just go about the world. It's just, there's so much conflicting stuff. It is exhausting, as many people have said. Exhausting is exactly the correct word. In other words, this is not, I didn't want this to be about COVID because everyone's sick of hearing about it and nobody, like, this is such a downer. I mean, the topic in question was a downer anyway, but geez, nobody wants to talk about this. Milo will be 12 next year. Oh my God. Remember the days of MissBudgetBeauty. Yes. He will be 12. I mean, he's not 11 yet, but he will be 12 next year, end of next year. Crazy though, isn't it? I've had headache, sickness on Sunday and nausea and snuffles since Saturday. Still testing negative. I think there's a funny bug doing the rounds. Yeah, it's not COVID. I was sick on my birthday. I started to feel sick the day before my birthday. I was actually sick on the 4th. It's now the 16th. And I felt nauseous every day. Jesus Christ, don't even ask that question because no. But I felt nauseous every day. And then every day a new symptom presents itself. Like one day when I was just really headachy, fatigue throughout. And then I got a crazy earache a few days ago. I've been taking some Sinutab for that. I'm just like, but none of the regular COVID symptoms. No cough, no high temperature, all that stuff. But it just does seem to be like a bug, but a bug that possibly Milo and I are passing back and forth to each other because we're spending so much time together. Because neither of us seem to be like getting over it very quickly. Maybe we need to isolate from each other to chill. But also I think maybe the cold weather is slowing everything down. Yes, every plan involves 14 more decisions, exactly. My back has not been fantastic. Lee bought me this like thing that you put underneath your neck and you like it like raises up your neck. It's quite good. It gives me some amount of relief to do this thing, but it's not great. Also, I dug this out, my massage chair thing, but of course, as with me with all things, I overdid it and bruised my back immediately. Oh, I think I'll have to log off and log on in a second for work. But thank you for making me feel a little bit more normal, a little bit like this is probably COVID fatigue, probably pandemic fatigue. This is just how everyone's feeling. As she says on Inventing Anna, I'm not special. I'm writing a Dracula historic fiction novel based on our real world, and in my story, COVID is an airborne vampire transmission virus. Death is a new vampire. Love it. Is Dracula a Muppet? Forget Sarah Marshall. I love it. I would watch that movie. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna vlog a little today. I did post a vlog last night, but I'm gonna post another one tomorrow morning. And I'm gonna try to vlog a little bit this week because I think it just like, it keeps me going. I have something that I know I'm doing. I'm committing to something, but it feels quite low key. I may or may not post some more videos here this week. Depends on how I'm feeling. But I'm really excited to show you the shed when it's finished. I did show you in the vlogs yesterday, I did show you the colours that I've chosen. It's really coming together. It's been a much larger job than I anticipated. But yeah, I'm excited for that to be finished. As a pandemic, what's FTM? First time mom? I'm struggling big time with sad, yes. I'm concerned about my sister-in-law for that as well, because you don't have any of the usual social. I mean, I didn't do that because I was 19 and went back to work quite quickly. I didn't have any of the I didn't have any friends that had children. I didn't go to any of the mummy and baby groups or anything like that because I felt like I was going to be so much younger than everybody else. So I did lose out on all of the social stuff. But I think if you're a little bit older and you're looking forward to that, or you need that community, I really feel for the people who've missed out on that during the pandemic. Also, the garage gym is great. That's not what I thought FTM meant. What did you think FTM meant? I don't know what it means. Garage gym is great. We need to get a cross trainer. We've been trawling Facebook Marketplace. Actually, I might remind Lee today to have a look, because I think if we get a cross trainer, that would maybe help me, because all the stuff that Lee's got is more, well, it's obviously, that was the whole thing, was for him. I need something that's like move. So let's cross train in front of the TV. That would work. But anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to log on for work. Thank you for joining me. Might do another live later this week. Actually, do you know what? I might do a live on Thursday night when I'm at my mum's house, because I'll be by myself, and you could keep me company. I'll give you a little pre-warning here and on Instagram. So yeah, see you later.